Jerry, somewhere along the line, something happened in your personal life that caused you to go down the rabbit hole. You realize you're living in a scam. There's no question it's a scam. Okay, if you live in the United States, it's the biggest scam in the world, the straw man. What caused you to go down that rabbit hole and start really investigating on how we were being bamboozled, and how did you develop the language to rebuttal these bastards?
That judge, when I asked him, I said, I don't think this is correct, Judge. I think you're missing the point. What about the law of the land? What about my rights? And he looked at me with this weirdest look in his right eye and cribbed up to look at me. I swear to God, he looked like a damn vampire. Ghost white, white as a paper. And he looked at me and he goes, I'm not here to answer your questions. And he laughed at me. And that's when it dawned on me how evil these people are. And what I found was that these judges, when it comes into family courts, in equity courts, they pretty much think they have discretion to do whatever they want. And they completely ignore the Constitution of the United States of America. But they will tell you under the color of law, under state legal law, that they are the authority. And what I found is they are not. In fact, there is a huge, huge difference between being legal in a state and lawful to America.
How the hell did you come up with all of this lingo to be able to fight these bastards?
I have over 250,000 people on Facebook alone.
Right.
And these people are relaying to me the same things that I went through. So this is not an isolated incident. It is an epidemic running across the land, and it's harming these kids. And it's got to stop.
Because you guys are being played. You're working for $75,000 a year, $85,000 a year. They're taking illegal taxes. I will say the word illegal because that's exactly what it is. It's illegal taxes out of your paycheck. You got a spouse, you got kids to feed, you can't make ends meet, and they're getting rich, and you got a quota, and you got to give away speeding tickets and parking tickets and all this nonsense, this evil system that we keep paying into. And you can't make ends meet, and you have the highest divorce rate in your profession. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us what you think about these cops and why they're not really doing their job, why they're not stopping to do their homework, why they're not doing their job. Please enlighten us. The Mel Carmine Show begins in just 1 minute. Support the movement. Visit QFS1776.com for exclusive one-of-a-kind merch that makes a powerful statement. Protect your wealth. Cash is trash. Go to carminesgold.com and secure real assets, silver, gold, delivered anywhere in the U.S. Text Mel at 786-704-8817. Looking to acquire XRP? Minimum is $10,000 investment, and there is no limit, even up to $100 million worth. Again, text Mel with full details at 786-704-8817 and allow up to 24 hours for a response. And if by chance you're visiting Cape Canaveral or you are a local, visit stayingalive.com, alive with 2 E's, and recharge your body at the cellular level. The show with your host, Mel Carmine, starts right now. Well, folks, if you haven't heard, Jerry Reid is going to be in the movie Dear Mr. President, Show Me the Money. This is a film about the straw man. Jerry, welcome to the show. You're blowing up. We're helping you blow up. We want you to go even faster. We want you to get even bigger than you want to get. The reality is you're growing by like 3,000 people for lunchtime, 3,000 people at breakfast, and 5,000 people at dinner. It's amazing what's getting ready to happen because people are resonating with you saying, well, you know what? At first I thought he was nuts, but then he gets into these long-winded conversations. The guy's not nuts. The guy's a genius. Yeah, damn. You just came out to the same fucking conclusion as Mel Carmine. Congratulations. Jerry, somewhere along the line, something happened in your personal life that caused you to go down the rabbit hole. You realize you're living in a scam. There's no question it's a scam. Okay. If you live in the United States, it's the biggest scam in the world, the straw man. What caused you to go down that rabbit hole and start really investigating on how we were being bamboozled, and how did you develop the language to rebuttal these bastards on a freaking level that you know how to do it better than anybody? Tell us a little bit how that looked. I mean, the reality is the average person out there that's still using Colgate toothpaste and Scope mouthwash and drinking fluorinated water is not so intelligent. So we got to dumb it down, not because these people are dumb. These people are not dumb. These people have been dumbed down by a system that's here deliberately to kill them and keep them sick and keep them docile and keep them in a state of mind where they're like little bitches. What can I say? Right? And
Right.
you and I are not little bitches. We figured out, hey, you're poisoning us. Okay, let's get rid of the fluoride. Let's get the right toothpaste. You're poisoning our mouthwash. Let's get some probiotic, mouthwash, which the lady who sells that stuff, which is the only stuff you should use, is going to be at the Quantum Summit, the Junior Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral on March 27th, 28th, and 29th. It's going to be an epic event. And yes, he's going to be on stage as well. Let's get into it. How the hell did you come up with all of this lingo to be able to fight these bastards?
Well, I have 4 children. I have my oldest son, who I love dearly. He's 30 years old now. Went through a whole process through the courts, child support, the whole thing. That in itself got me pretty irritated. I'm going in to pay my child support, and the person sitting behind the counter tells me, "We don't allow deadbeat dads here." I'm like, I pay 4 times more in child support than most men do for one child, and you're calling me a deadbeat. Just kind of got under my growl. But went through that process. And then my second oldest daughter was born, and the relationship didn't really work out, and it went through a whole process in the courts. That judge, when I asked him, I said, "I don't think this is correct, Judge. I think you're missing the point. What about the law of the land? What about my rights?" And he looked at me with this weirdest look in his right eye and creeped up and looked at me. I swear to God, he looked like a damn vampire. Ghost white as a paper. And he looked at me and he goes, "I'm not here to answer your questions." And he laughed at me. And that's when it dawned on me how evil these people are. And I knew, I could see it in his eyes. I knew the man was manipulating me. He was taunting me. He was like, "I'll do whatever the hell I want, and there's nothing you can do about it." So I began looking, and I started going through canons, merits, a process, civil processes, what the judges are required to do, what they can do and what they're not allowed to do. And I realized how much this man was violating me, but not only violating me, he was violating my child. So I started learning, and I kept my mouth shut. My child was safe. Child support was set. Child was happy. I just left that be so it didn't affect the child anymore. And I just kept learning, and I just kept learning. I kept digging. And what I found was that these judges, when it comes into family courts, in equity courts, they pretty much think they have discretion to do whatever they want. And they completely ignore the Constitution of the United States of America. But they will tell you under the color of law, under state legal law, that they are the authority. And what I found is they are not. In fact, there is a huge, huge difference between being legal in a state and lawful to America. And this is how they twist the words to make you feel like or think that they have authority over you. And in fact, they don't. And that's how this all started for me. And apparently, when I started speaking out about things that happened, it's resonating with a lot of other people. And they're contacting me, Jerry, what do I do? What do I do? Man, you're saying stuff and the exact same things are happening to me. And some of these people are going through a lot worse things that I went through. And so I just kept researching. I just kept talking, mostly as in messengers and direct messages and stuff. And it just grew. I didn't even intend for it to, but it did. So then I realized this is something that needs to be addressed on a national scale. And I realized they're all doing it. And it kind of led up to now. That's how it started for me.
Well, let me guess. At some point, some people that are like you, right, who question the system, who started to do their homework, started coming at you, and you started to compare notes.
Absolutely.
And you started to find out shit that it's like, hey, how come he knows the same shit I know? How come I know the same shit he knows? And you're saying this is not a coincidence. There's got to be more to this. Let's keep digging, right?
Right. I mean, I have over 250,000 people on Facebook alone.
Right.
And these people are relaying to me the same things that I went through. So this is not an isolated incident. It is an epidemic running across the land, and it's harming these kids. And it's got to stop. It is unbelievable what these judges do that violate your right under constitutional law.
Absolutely. Well, all of these people who work for the system, they are all compartmentalized. The guy in the street with a uniform, a gun, and a badge does not know what the judge knows, and the judge does not know what the guys above him are, who are the politicians, and they're taking all of this money. They're trading it on the open market. We know that the all caps name has to do with your bond. That's how they keep track of your bond. That's how we can tap into these websites, who a lot of times they literally take these things down because we're getting too close to the truth. We're getting too close to the fire. And we find out that there's all this money in there that's our money, and they're spending our money. They don't even have to print the money. They got plenty of our money. They got 360 million Americans, and the average person's worth $100-200 million. Believe me, they don't have to print the money. They got plenty of it. But meanwhile, they keep you on this treadmill. They keep you running faster, thinking that if you could run a little faster next year, you might just be able to get to that carrot. And you don't.
Absolutely.
So everybody's compartmentalized, and the guy in the street doesn't know what the hell he's doing, who is the dumbass cop. And I'm sure that there's some good cops out there. I'm willing to bet that there's maybe just a little small amount, a handful. But a lot of them, I think, and I don't want to get off subject here, but I think you'll agree, a lot of them really feed off of putting fear in you. These are bad people. They love to put fear in you because when they see the fear, that's their food. Your fear is their food, and they love it. They thrive on this, which makes you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, not to say anything else. But anyway, so the guy in the street doesn't know. What do you think would happen? At least a handful of you good cops out there. I hope we're going to get to you somehow, some way. Okay? A handful of you cops out there that are good cops. If you start to study what him and I know, and millions of us are starting to know, that it is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, you guys should be in a position to go and arrest these black robe judges, these crows, these evil monsters, and their superiors, the politicians. Because you guys are being played. You're working for $75,000 a year, $85,000 a year. They're taking illegal taxes. I will say the word illegal because that's exactly what it is. It's illegal taxes out of your paycheck. You got a spouse. You got kids to feed. You can't make ends meet. And they're getting rich. And you got a quota. And you got to give away speeding tickets and parking tickets and all this nonsense, this evil system that we keep paying into. Some of us are opting out, by the way. And you can't make ends meet, and you have the highest divorce rate in your profession. Wild how you don't stop for 1 second and say, wait a minute, let me see what these two cuckoo for Cocoa. You might think we're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. No, we're the two smartest guys in the room. You get it? Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us what you think about these cops and why they're not really doing their job, why they're not stopping to do their homework, why they're not doing their job, not in pulling over some 72-year-old lady who needs to go to work because the social insecurity, the social slave number doesn't work, and she's still got to go work at 72, and she's pressed for time, and she's doing 12 miles an hour over the speed limit, and she gets pulled over. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of guys around feeding off of her fear just to give her a ticket that's $200 or $300 so that the guys upstairs can make some money. It is a wild, I mean, like, I could talk about this ad nauseum. Please enlighten us.
All right. Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Mel. And I want to start with the simplest, okay? A police officer goes to an academy, and he's a policeman. The root word is policy. It's not law. It's not even statute. It's not even code. It's a policy. That's why they call him police policy. And he gets trained and educated to perform his duty as an officer. He takes an oath of office to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States of America and protect the people, to some type of affirmation of oath. But he will guarantee that he will do that. And they'll give him a badge, and they'll give him a license to be a police officer. He'll pull you over for a short over limit on the speed. He'll flip on his red and blues and declare an emergency. Fraud number one. He is committing a fraudulent act right there. He doesn't even know it. He's lying. There's no emergency for some little old lady trying to get down the road 2 miles an hour over speed limit. That is not an emergency. That is a lie. Fraud. Deceptive practice to pull her over and detain her on her right to freely travel. Constitutional violation, period. He lies. Now, he may not realize he's lying because he's got somebody giving him a payment to go out and perform this duty or function for them. And he doesn't even realize what that's called in law, okay, is an emolument violation. An emolument violation is when somebody pays somebody to go out and commit a crime. It is a United States felony. And that officer does that as soon as he flips on those red and blues and walks up to that lady's door. He is committing a United States felony. It's called emolumency. He doesn't even know it. With that, even that is more pronounced because these judges send these officers out as servants of the court. They don't serve and protect. They surveillance and police.
Surveillance and harass, you mean? Surveillance and harass.
Or abduct.
Or abduct, which is what? Kidnapping? Is that illegal?
Kidnapping. They yank you out of that car, put you in handcuffs, throw you in a cage, and yank you down to another cage and say, you're going to go see this man because he told me to do it. That's abduction. That's mercenaryism. Think about it. He's not arresting you. He's literally abducting you out of your jurisdiction in your sovereign peace, telling you you've done something that violated them because of their code or statute, and he writes it down on a ticket, a citation, because he's a lawman. Now, does he have a license to practice law? How does he know that's the law? And who the fuck is he to say that to you? He has no authority to do it. He's getting paid to do it. So he brings you back to this judge, and that's where we're going to link this into the straw man. Brings you back to a judge, runs you through a metal detector if you got out and bonded out or whatever, and then they run you through a metal detector, and they violate your right to bear arm. Constitutional federal violation number 2. Before you even get into the courthouse, they've already constitutionally violated you under United States felonies twice, and you've lost your freedom. And this cop doesn't even realize he's doing it to you. He thinks he's upholding and protecting the safety and security of the American people, and he's not. He's abducting them. So then you get into the room, you have no defenses, you are sitting there waiting on this judge to walk into the room, and you've got a bailiff sitting at the back wall with his gun, tasers, and pepper spray, his body armor, his bulletproof vest on, right? He's a sentry. He's a soldier. And you will sit and do what we say in this courtroom, lest I have my weapons and I will make you. That is not freedom. That is tyranny and an act of war. So the judge walks in the door and that bailiff says, all rise for the honorable judge. Now remember, he's being paid to do that. So the judge didn't order you to rise in front of him. So the judge can't be in conflict. So you stand willingly. And then all of a sudden, the judge will say, you may be seated. Because now he has jurisdiction over you. Because you stood in attendance, acknowledgement, and said, yep, I'm here and I'm honoring your honor. And said, that jurisdiction will apply to me. Without saying a word, without you even knowing they did it, they've already taken you out of your sovereign, constitutionally protected rights and placed you as a straw man in that room. And you didn't even know they did it. So once you sit back down, the judge says your name and asks you if that's you. And you say, yes, that's me. But little did you know, if you look at that paper, it will be all cap lettered. That's how they turned you into the straw man in that room. And now you are no longer you.
Yeah, it's a fictitious version of you created by the state. It's a phony. It's a fake. In Brooklyn, we say it's a fugazi.
Absolutely. So you now have become not the living, breathing person sitting in that chair. You are now a corporate entity under the jurisdiction of the rules of the corporation. And there's only one reason for a corporation to exist, and that's to make money. So a state is incorporated, or however they file their corporate state filings for the jurisdiction of their state. And the state pays the judge. If he's a state judge, it comes from the federal side if he's in the federal courts. But either way, the corporation is paying the judge. So the judge is employed by the state. That's not a judge. That's an adjudicator, an administrator. And he's an entity of a corporation. So his job is to collect money and make money for the corporation, not hand out laws and determine laws. His job is to decide whether that police officer that issued that citation on that ticket, which is a bond, actually, it's a citation of a value of money. He will tell you you're charged with this quasi-criminal act or a criminal act of traveling faster than we allow out there on the street. And that citation has a certain monetary value. It's your bill of indictment, which is a charge. They're billing you. But if you pay that citation, no problems. You admit guilt, you pay it, you retain your freedom, and you're free to go. But if you don't pay it, they will throw you back in that dark dog cage and take your freedom. This is how they violate every American. And if it happens in one state, it happens everywhere. It's violating all Americans because we are free. But not to them. They own us, and we're going to pay them for that freedom, or they'll throw us in a cage. And that little old lady's sitting there saying, what the fuck is going on? I don't know. I was just trying to get back and forth to work. All that happened to that little old lady who probably raised many children, probably has many grandchildren, and probably just wanted to get to work, come back home so she could bake some cookies for her grandkids. And that's what the court did to her because she was going 2 miles an hour over speed limit. If we get into understanding the straw man, you'll understand how it all is connected. It's all interlinked. The straw man is a dressed up fake entity. What is a straw man? He's a scarecrow. And what does a scarecrow do?
Scare you.
You set him out in the field. You let the wind blow him around so he shakes and rattles and rolls out there. And the birds, the marsupials, the squirrels, and the deer see that motion. It scares them away to protect the harvest. To scare away anything that's going to damage the harvest. For who? The person that's going to come collect that food and get the yield. So you're the straw man in the car. You're the scarecrow. And you're supposed to be following the rules and doing what we need to do because we want to protect our harvest, which is our money.
Yeah.
And they send the cops out to maintenance the straw man, to make sure the straw man's doing his job, to protect their rules. To try to put it in something that's even more simple than that, there was a movie came out, and there was this little ant in it, and he set out on a venture, and he came back with a whole bunch of people to help fight the grasshoppers. And at one point in that movie, a grasshopper said, "You remember that one little ant stood up against us?" "But yeah, so what?" Pulled a piece of grain out, slapped him in the chest with it. That hurt? No. Did it to the next one? No. What about this? Slap that cap off of there and let that grain all tumble out of there all at one time. Covered them up, smashed them down. He said if that one little ant stands up, they might all stand up, and there will go our way of life. The understanding of what they're doing is so tremendous that people can't fathom the corruption and the violations of these corporate entity adjudicated judges that work for the states that are all licensed and members of the British Attorney Regulatory. The British Attorney Regulatory, or the British Accredited Regulation, or however, whatever that acronym actually truly stands for, because they hide stuff so much you can't even figure out exactly who they are. But the commonality here, it's Britain. The Britain country came over here, occupied our legal system and our legislation, and have manipulated these codes and statutes underneath our Constitution in every state. And we are oblivious to it. But we are occupied. We've already been taken over, America. We've been occupied for decades since they started the bar, which I believe was around 1913, 1914-ish, when the Federal Reserve started. So these are all entities to do what? Make money for the corporation, the Federal Reserve. And it all revolves back around into the Federal Reserve, the fiat dollar, which is taxed by them for the people that are going out, maintaining the fields. And this is all a big circle. And that's what they have done. And if people don't start standing up, we've already lost, guys. They're already in our country. They're letting Muslims in our country. People come across our south border. They're doing whatever they want. We are occupied. And it is an act of war against the people to control them, to make money off them, use them. And if we don't stand, our children will have nowhere to go except in their cage. It's pretty simple. They're liars, but they demand honor from you. There's nothing honorable about it. They're a foreign country occupying ours, telling you what to do, and you stand in honor of it every time you walk in there, and you don't even know it. So this must change.
The United States of America Corporation is a foreign country occupying the republic.
Yes, sir.
Firmly stated. Trump is definitely moving in the direction of dissolving the corporation, but if everybody gets on board with what you and I are doing, especially with this movie, and get behind this movie and get this movie out there as fast as you can, then we send the message directly to Donald Trump saying the people are with you, keep going, and that will expedite things. True or false?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If everybody will help share this stuff around, their Achilles heel is their centralization. They're central. They're all organized back to a central source. It's embedded in everywhere. It's in your Federal Reserve. It's in the electrical supply systems. It's in your water supply systems. It's even in your food distribution systems. It's in the police officers. It's all the way indoctrinated all the way down into the schools. The schools think they have possession of your children when you send them to school. They take temporary guardianship over your children a half an hour before they get to school and a half an hour after they leave school. They are legally, under legal statutes of law, they are legally guardians of your children. And if they don't want to give you your children for whatever reason, they don't have to under law. And they put them under a lock and key coded door, and you have to have permission to walk in that house you paid for to even see your own child. And you're giving them your kids. What happens if you lock that down? How are you going to get your kid back? You going to go argue with this illegal cop? You going to argue with an illegal judge? These people have taken control of everything, and it must stop. We don't have any other choice. We must unify. We must get this information out there. We must tell people and get through to people's heads. because my children's home is America. And I got to give them a place to live because somebody has stolen it.
And you will die. You're willing to die for your kids, aren't you?
Absolutely. They're poisoning food. They're taking over everything. They control everything. They raise the prices on everything. You go back and forth to work and they raise the price. That's not freedom. It's slavery.
And they're spraying us like lab rats on top of it and thinking that we're stupid.
And whatever toxins they're spraying up there, there's a lot of speculation about that. I know it's full of aluminum. Test your soil. See how much aluminum is in that soil. There's only one way of getting there.
Yeah, how about we see how much aluminum is in your bloodstream? Go do a blood work. And you'll find out how much barium and sulfur and aluminum and God knows whatever else they put in there. He probably knows a lot better than I do. Okay.
It's good. I'm glad you brought that up, Mel. Barium, its elemental is Ba, and aluminum, its elemental is Al. You put them together, it says ball. Think about that. You think that's coincidental?
No.
But that's what's in our soil. That's what's in our vegetation. That's what's in our lakes. That's what's in our water.
So if we don't change the soil, and we don't get these guys to stop spraying, we're not going to be eating healthy anytime soon is what you're saying, basically.
You won't be able to have your own food because you won't be able to eat it. You'll be eating Bill Gates' lab-grown, bioengineered meats.
No,
because like you won't be able.
People and you, like you and me, and there's plenty of us, including the militia. Let me repeat that slowly. The militia, okay? 1.8 million people who practice every other weekend in the jungles, in the woods, and they're itching for a fight, and they'll be delighted to go after a Bill Gates. They will be delighted to go after a Pelosi, a Schumer, all of the guilty parties. I'm not interested in fighting your neighbor. Are you interested in fighting your neighbor? I couldn't give a shit about my neighbor. If he's left, right, middle, I couldn't give a fuck. The only thing I give a fuck about is who is the culprit, and how long would that war last if it would even start?
Well, if we all stand together, this stuff ends. Monopoly.
Like that.
Monopoly. You're down here, you're bent over, and they've got a board on top of you, and they're playing the Monopoly with you. If you stand up, their game ends. See, their Achilles heel is they need us, and they've got us all duped that they have authority over us, and they don't. But they got us believing that. And the judge, the first thing goes, you don't think I have authority over you? I'll throw you in contempt. Okay, whatever. But that's not me, and I'm not listening to your bullshit. If you stand up, their game ends. If you stop playing the game ends. They need us for their way of life. If we stop playing the game, they can't. But if we don't stand up, it just goes on. So at some point, America is going to have to make a decision. Are we going to go make some more damn tea? Or are we going to let us keep taxing our tea? We've already told them before. They've got everybody so dumbed down, we've forgotten the reason our forefathers fought over a 3% tax on tea. Because they knew if they didn't stop it then, it would turn into what it is today. 250 years this country has been around, and we have forgotten what created this country. People standing up against this tyranny. Britain, if we don't stand up, they'll just come over and keep taking and taking and taking and taking and taking until there's nothing left. They'll have it all. It's up to America to stand. United, we stand. Divided, we fall. We've been taught this our entire life.
And so to set the record straight and not to take the conversation and we'll not to digress, we'll get right back on track. I'm gonna bring a valid point here. I don't have a thing against cops. I have a thing against dumb cops. I have a thing against cops who don't stop to do their homework. I have a thing against cops who don't realize what we're telling you is true, to come to the same determination as we're on, the same sheet of music, and do your job. For example, right now we have a problem. It's called illegal people that have invaded our country because the Democrats have allowed as much as 60, maybe 100 million, illegal aliens to come in from South America, Central America, and so on. Most of them are criminals. The Democrats, who are completely delusional, thinking if we allow 100 million illegal aliens, when we have the elections, we're going to have these 100 million people vote for us, and we're going to win every election. And now you got Donald Trump and the Patriots saying, no, enough is enough. So I'm all for ICE doing their job. Great. Wonderful.
I agree with you 100% on that, Mel. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Do your job. You got a domestic violence. You get called in, a domestic violence. Somebody's beating up a little kid. Go do your job. Wonderful. Great. Pulling over somebody for going 7 miles an hour over the speed limit and putting that ticket to work in these bonds that make interest on top of interest on top of interest. Remember what Einstein said, one of the eighth wonders of the world is the compound interest, interest on top of interest. And these guys are making all the money, and you guys are having financial situation problems. You're causing divorces, causing breakups, causing broken families, and you're out there thinking you're doing your job. You're not part of the solution. You're part of the fucking problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But they don't know they're part of the problem. That's the thing.
I want you to get loud, bro. I love when you get loud. You inspire me.
My voice is a little bit sore today. I got a cold. But you see, guys, the police officers are not the problem. They became police officers because they thought they were serving and protecting. They got indoctrinated in their head to go out and do this emolumency. And they don't even know they're doing it. So what we need to do is get the truth out there. What we need to do is understand what's really happening. How in the hell did we get to constitutional to British bar? Who the fuck let the British back in? We kicked their ass out once, and now we're helping the fuckers. They've taken over your mind. They've taken over your food. They've taken over your money. They've taken over your kids. And they tell you to stay in line, or they'll throw you in contempt, or they'll pull their guns. Who the fuck let the British back in? The damn judges did. Legislators who are practicing law under the British bar, making your laws that you elect and put in Congress are members of the fucking bar. They're members of the group, and they pay homage to belong to Britain. The British are coming. The British are coming.
They never left.
They're already fucking here.
They never left. We pay fucking income taxes. It goes to the goddamn Brits. They never fucking left. Every fucking dime you make in illegal taxation from the IRS that was registered in Puerto Rico in 1946. Let me repeat that. An agency, corporation registered in Puerto Rico in 1946 has nothing to do with the federal fucking government. They gave them a police department, jail cells, and black crows in robes to actually control every fucking movement, and you're paying for your own fucking demise. You're paying for your own stupidity. You know what they're teaching your kids in school is bullshit, and you keep paying for it, and you're going to deserve what you get, right? The reality is this. How do they hold us back? I've been talking about flying cars, and there's a nostalgia about me having a flying car. I know that you said teleportation, for example, is something that they have a patent on. The United States of America, let me repeat that, has a patent on teleportation. Yeah, beam me up, Scotty. They got it, okay? But I want to go through that phase because I don't want to skip that phase of our life. I want to experience having a car that could fly at Mach 17. You see, you coppers cannot give me a ticket when I'm going Mach 17 because I ain't stopping for your ass.
Where we're going, we don't need any roads. And when this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
So think about this for a second. They keep you on the ground, scraping the earth like a turkey on an extension of a Model T Ford. Yes, it's got anti-lock brakes and all these whistles and bells and AM, FM stereo with Bose speakers and all the bullshit and the chairs that vibrate your balls to keep you entertained. In China, for $70,000, you could buy a car right now, this second, that drives by itself. Why is that? It's entertainment. You're in a fucking movie. This is kabuki fucking theater.
They're keeping us stagnated to keep us resisted so they can keep us under control. They're limiting it. They're limiting things.
Yeah.
Guys, think about this. I don't want to get too far off subject here. 1970, your Chevy pickup and it's 350, you got 18 miles a gallon. 1980, new advancements came out. Truck got a little better. You got 18 miles a gallon. 1990, your truck got 18 miles a gallon. 2000, new advancements, 18 miles a gallon. All this electronic advancements, all this increase in precision, 18 miles to 20 miles a gallon. If you don't think they're suppressing you, you're insane. 50 years of Chevy trucks, and they can't advance the miles per gallon on that truck. I can do that today. I can show you how to advance 5 to 10 miles a gallon for your truck, just with one little modification to it. They suppressed that back in 1986. They wouldn't let it come to fruition because it was something that might contaminate the engine cavity of the truck. Mm-hmm. You want to know what I did? I'll tell a real quick overview on it.
Please.
I took the vent from your AC unit and I took a tube and I directed that back up around to the injection system. I took the line for the injection system and I coiled it up 50 times before it went into the injectors. And I cooled that fuel down before it went into the intake. And your horsepower and your efficiency through the roof. just by cooling the fuel down by the very system the truck already had. It's easy to do. But they said, well, if that fumes ever got intermixed with the air cavity of the air conditioning unit and it got back into the cab of the truck, then it could intoxicate the truck and it could kill somebody or suffocate them. So they wouldn't allow it to happen.
Like they give a shit about us. Like they give a shit about us. They couldn't give it two shits.
No. You want to increase miles per gallon? Take 2 big ice bags, set them on top of your manifold on your Chevy truck. Drive down the road, measure it. Your miles per gallon will jump. Now the ice will melt, but your manifold stays cool. It's an atomization thing that happens with the fuel. It's easy to do. It's so simple, it's mind-boggling, but they won't allow it to happen. Anyway, we're talking about straw man here.
Let's go back to the straw man. Okay, you're coming down to talk about the straw man on stage. We're going to have the premiere of the movie, Dear Mr. President, Show Me the Money, a straw man film that's going to explain it in layman's terms. We're keeping it down to a bare minimum of intelligence, not because you guys are unintelligent, it's because they made you unintelligent, deliberately, intentional, by design. These are evil sons of bitches, okay? Look, you know the toothpaste is poison. Look, let me ask you a question, Jerry. If people know that the toothpaste is still poison and the scope is still poison and they're still using Colgate and Scope, what does that make them?
Well, it kind of makes them stupid.
How stupid?
Dumb enough they'll freaking eat poison until they die.
So stop, okay?
Right on your damn tube. It tells you right on the back of the tube, do not swallow. You know why? Because it's toxic.
Right.
If you can't eat it, don't put it in your fucking mouth.
By the way, Senator Fincham, a good friend of mine, is coming to the summit. He can't wait to meet you.
Well, I can't wait to meet your friends as well.
Yeah, Senator Fincham. He's a senator, acting senator in Arizona right now. He's a dear friend of mine. He said, I'm there, Mel. He sent me he said 4 words. I'm there, Mel, this morning.
Well, I'd be very honored to meet him.
Yes.
If he's your friend, I'm sure he is a man of great character.
Absolutely, 100%. So let's talk about more about this evil monster. How do we defeat it? How do we educate enough people to say enough? Because like you said, if everybody stands up, they take a shit in their pants, they realize that we outnumber them 100,000 to 1, and they don't stand a chance.
Well, I have a lot of people asking me that same question. How do we change? We're so stuck, even if we want to. How do I change this? Well, go to QFS1776.com. There is a website set up there that is a 30 video tutorial that explains how to divert the economic system. And if you'll just go there and absorb the information there, you'll understand so much more. It's a massive amount of information to help trying to deliver people from this Federal Reserve fiat to a different form of currency type based economy. And if you'll just go look, you'll begin to see. You know, there is no law in America saying you have to use a Federal Reserve note. There's not one law that exists that says you must use that note they call a dollar. Not one.
You know, I want to share a video, if you don't mind, while we're doing this, because this fits right into what we're doing. And this is a great video. Let me cue it up, if you don't mind. So this is a video about a guy you guys all know. And I believe his name is Donald Trump, your president. Let me cue it up. And there's going to be a gentleman on stage, okay, who is my friend, who is going to be there specifically to get you to get a trust and put all of your assets, gold, silver, XRP, your home, your cars, everything. This is another way of sending the message to Donald Trump. We're tired of the system. Gee, guess who else? Guess who else? Everything he owns is under a trust. Donald Trump.
A living trust.
Donald Trust. Donald Trump. Trust Donald Trump. Okay, here we go. Tell me if you can see that.
Yes, I can see it.
And give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
What's up, everybody? So, nice question today. Figured I'd answer it. Somebody called me, a friend of mine, and she asked me, she said, I want a simple answer, and I have a feeling you actually have a real answer for this. And please explain to me why Donald Trump is putting his name on all of these buildings. And I'm like, well, I will do my best to make it as simple as possible. When Donald Trump has a NGO trust, an international jurisdiction, that's why it's called Trump International, right? And then he has like Trump National Durrell, and so he's a national and international jurisdiction in the United States, right? Because he's the United States president. He's under United States law. By him doing this, he is changing the jurisdiction of those facilities. Let me give you an example. The Trump Kennedy Center, right, now goes under international law and national law, okay, and an American non-governmental organization under a trust, which is Trump's trust. Him granting that means that there are no documents under the federal government that say Trump Kennedy Center. When there are no documents that say the Trump Kennedy Center, and that's the official name, that is now in a new jurisdiction that's outside of Congress, which means Congress doesn't have any authority. And the people that Congress put in place, like the ex officio whatever, they have no say because they're foreign. And Congress has been evicted, and they are tenants awaiting eviction. So what he's doing is he is transferring. So when he says like the Trump East Wing is now the Trump ballroom, whatever, well, that's a whole new jurisdiction. It's a whole new reality. It's a whole new place that they have no documents that match. And since they're speaking in a different dictionary with a different language, and Trump has a right to his name because it is global, international, the Trump brand name needs to give authorization to use. So he's using the branded name to change the jurisdiction and take it away from Congress. And that's why they're crying like little babies, because that's what they are. Little babies that are being told nobody cares what you think anymore because you're gone. Bye. You're a foreign entity that we are evicting. So go back to your kennel and bark to somebody else. That's what's happening. No different than all the assets that we're coming in contact with and are moving into our American private trust. Same thing. He's literally doing the same thing. He's using what he has to take away power from them. And they're crying like little babies about it because that's all they are, is little babies. So I hope this explains it.
Donald Trump leads by example, number one. Donald Trump, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the smartest people on planet Earth. I believe every leader out there either fears him or they're cheering him on because they realize that we're all moving in the same direction. And some of the leaders of other worlds, of other parts of the world, are nice people. I would go on a limb and say even Xi Jinping is actually a nice guy, but he's playing a double agent, appeasing the people that can kill him, the CCP, okay, the Chinese Communist Party, so he doesn't get whacked. But deep down inside, he's a nice guy. He's had a change of heart, and he wants to move his country out of communism. And behind the scenes, he's working on that. And so is Putin. Why do you think Donald Trump owns a trust? Because he owns nothing and controls everything. You think that when his airplane breaks down, you know who fixes his airplane? God. Religious irrevocable trust. You can't tax God. That's why the rich pay zero taxes. That's why Mel Carmine and Amber have a religious irrevocable trust. I pay zero taxes and I could pound my chest about it, and you can't put me in handcuffs. You know why? Because I'm not breaking any rules. It's a loophole that's there for me to do what I want to do, and I'm taking full advantage of it, just like Donald Trump has the ability to do the same thing. The same rules apply to you, to me, to Jerry, and everybody out there. So we're moving the country in that direction, and there's going to be a gentleman there by the name of Kobus at the Quantum Junior, the Junior Summit, which takes place 27th, 28th, 29th. Go to stayingalive.com. It's going to be plastered all over there in the next few days. Okay, you want to get on that mailing list, and you want to come down and meet this gentleman. A lot of people want to come down and meet you, by the way. I've had a lot of ladies found out that you're single, and they might want to change that situation for you. So, but anyway, there's a lot of people.
I come with baggage.
Down. Yeah, they don't care. They probably got some of their baggage of their own, and we can make the Brady Bunch, and everybody's happy, right? Who cares? It all comes out in the wash. But anyway, needless to say, so we have a lot of great speakers coming down. The senator will be there. Dr. Layla looks like is coming down. We have maybe potentially Patrick. Patrick got hurt in the Army, and he got that some kind of syndrome that made him smarter. And as a matter of fact, I got to get a video from you with your gadgets, with your free energy gadgets. He wants to see what it is you invented. Savant syndrome. It's called Savant syndrome, I think. Savant something, right? Okay. And he's actually smarter. He never built an engine in his life. He never rebuilt a transmission in his life yet. After that accident, he could take an entire engine apart and put it back together. Perfect. And it'll work, no problems. I don't know what kind of disease it is, but it's some kind of great disease that not everybody gets.
Well, maybe they can smack me with a stick and I get smarter too.
You're smarter. You're smart enough. So you excited about coming down, brother?
Yeah, I can't wait to be there.
Yeah,
I'm
I
absolutely,
understand.
totally, 100% excited.
Yeah, you're coming down a couple of days early. You're going to hang out with a few people that have all the tools and workbenches. Every little thing you need will be at literally. There's a friend of mine. He's lending you his Cadillac. My friend XRP Shaman, aka Jeff Bezos. That's he looks like. You'll see. He looks exactly like Jeff.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you're also going to be hanging out with Larry Ballard. Larry Ballard will be there in Cape Canaveral. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And he's actually in your neck of the woods.
Really?
He's in, I told you, Missouri. I forget the area. I mentioned it the other day.
Oh, that's yeah, you did.
Yeah. What was it?
Do you want to branch off into a little bit of that about the
Sure.
energy stuff, or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah. He's going to be building a free energy motor that he's going to be demonstrating on stage in Cape Canaveral. Everybody look, if we can have clean skies, build machines, hopefully some other smart guy that isn't the air, right, knows how to create a machine that's going to clean up the entire atmosphere, right? We got to get some people that I know very well, like Jim Gale, who will be there from foodforestabundance.com. Okay, dear friend of mine for more than 12 years. He's going to be there with some people as well that know how to clean the dirt back to pristine levels. So you clean the air, you get rid of all these black robe judges, all this police state bullshit. Okay. You get rid of all of the stuff so that we don't have to worry about the straw man ever again. And you clean up the atmosphere, you clean up the dirt, you clean up the air, and you have free energy technology because of guys like this. Wouldn't that be a much more wonderful world?
Without explaining too much, because I like to keep an ace in the hole, just
Sure.
to keep some curiosity.
Sure.
But when it comes down to mechanics and it comes down to movement of energies, everybody thinks it's about the device. Let me explain that. You have an AC motor, and everybody thinks that's a motor, but that's not why it's called a motor. A motor is two exact repeating revolutions of rotations in complete cycle. That's a motor action. The device itself detents the axle points, the locations of all the mass that needs to be done to maintain that motor action. So you put energy in an AC motor and it spins a pulley, or it does work, and you load it and it creates a drag or a back EMF. Because the way they designed this device to create that motor action is inefficient. It fights itself. It's called back EMF, back electromotive force. So I studied that in depth. And I said, well, what if we can eliminate the back EMF? So what I'm going to bring and display for in Cape Canaveral is a device that creates that motor action and has no back EMF.
Exciting.
And I will explain the flow of energy through the device that makes it so efficient to allow that to happen, where it doesn't fight itself to move.
And if we scale that up big enough, can we run a house on it? Can we run a small business on it, etc.?
You can run anything you want on it. The device I'm going to make is going to be simple, just to show the movement of the flow of energy. It's not about the device. It's about not retarding the flow of energy. Take your finger out of the dam, little Dutch boy, and run like hell, because that water's going to move. Energy will move if you quit building a dam in front of it. An AC motor is building a dam in front of the movement of that energy. Now, if you can build a device that allows that flow to continue and you can control it, now you've got energy beyond your imagination. And my device is easily expandable. It's not actually totally my device. A lot of it was a lot of other very intelligent, smart men in history that I've took bits and pieces of things from, and I came up with a commonality, and then I created something. So a lot of people will say, well, this looks like that, or this looks like that. Well, physics are physics, and it works, and a lot of other people have done it. There was a man named Cyril, there was a man named Watson did it, there was a man named John Bedini did it, there was a guy named Tom Bearden did it, and it's all been suppressed. And it's been in front of everybody's faces for centuries. And I will show you how I did it, and I will show you and explain to you how we do it. We can stand it up, turbine it, and you can expand it out however scale it out how much you want. And it truly is limitless. And I will prove that on your stage in Cape Canaveral.
There'll be plenty of protection in the audience. You won't know who they are. I'll introduce you to them in the hallways in secret, who they are, not in public. There'll be plenty of people, carrying some firepower, so that you know. And I want to just touch on this, not that it has to do with anything we're talking about the straw man. I think we got enough points here on the straw man where we got all the pieces we need, and then we'll make more of this stuff. Is really intriguing, and I'm learning as I go. So I really appreciate you immensely. But you know the cars that they build today, the cars that they're building today, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 2019, 17, they all look the same. Nobody will take these cars and turn them into hot rods 30 years from now. Nobody. No. Nobody. There's no nostalgia about these cars. I mean, I was able to build one car in my lifetime, and I'll share the screen for the audience. Okay. One car in my lifetime, which was my pride and joy when I was living in Costa Rica. That was my form of therapy right there. And it's a Manx Myers dune buggy. I got every bit of $52,000 and a stereo system that will rock your socks. Okay, all Italian. Man, I would get more if there was a UFO flying next to me when I was going downtown and I was driving next to that UFO. I guarantee you, Mel Carmine got a hell of a lot more attention than that UFO. That was a piece of that was
awesome.
artwork. That was artwork right there. Nobody does that anymore. I mean, nobody will take these cars. These cars they all look the same. They all look the same.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about them.
It'd be very difficult to do anything like that with these cars today. It's the process and the mechanism of how they use to put them together has kind of eliminated the ability to modify the vehicle after you buy it, because you kind of have to strip everything out and put your own stuff back in, and it's like there's nothing left but a shell. You can't. There's nothing there.
Precisely correct. Hey guys, I'm sorry, but my beard is a little messed up here. It's a little crooked, so I got to go see my friend over here, Jesse James, and do some manicuring. And if you're in Cocoa, if you're anywhere near Cocoa, not Cocoa Beach, Cocoa, all right, he's not too far away from the village. Go and see him. He's awesome. He's got literally a line out the door for all these guys with beards. So I got to go see him hopefully later today, tomorrow, and get that mustache. It's not exactly even, but that's okay. So, brother, it was a pleasure having you again. Can't wait to actually meet you in person, brother. There's gonna be a lot of people coming down from my end, your end, and it's gonna be an interesting. I'm thinking about calling my landlord and moving the event downstairs. You'll still be able to come upstairs and charge overnight and all that stuff, but because I think we might get more attention than what we want, and we might have not enough seats, not enough real estate upstairs to be able to accommodate everybody. So if we sense that that's going to be the case in the next 2-3 weeks, I may move the entire situation downstairs, which will allow us to put about 450, 500 chairs. And I believe that we might literally move all those chairs. I really do.
Well, let's hope. And, what a problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
attention.
Stayingalive.com, guys, with 2 E's. Go check it out. My wife is going to start posting stuff. Contact them. Get on their mailing list. And most importantly, get on their texting list, because nobody really does email anymore. Everybody's on these darn things, these phones. I got one of these devices here. You see that? That's to mitigate the bad radiation. And then I got something on the inside also to mitigate radiation. I got like 0 radiation in that thing, because otherwise these things will mess you up. But brother, thank you for coming. We'll catch you next one. Guys, don't forget gold, silver, XRP 786-704-8817. XRP 10,000 minimum, no maximum. And on the silver, nothing less than $1,000. We still have some, and we can deliver anywhere in the United States within 2 weeks. There's a lot of websites that don't have silver anymore. We might be next. I don't know. Right now, we still have some. Thank you, and we'll catch you in the next one. Stay with me, brother.
All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.